Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? Are you a clothes horse? Well, I'm not. In fact, I've never really cared that much about fashion. I know that's a shocker. And I've had friends that were really shocked at how little I spent on clothes in a year, and I've been equally as shocked at how much they spent on clothes in a year. But that doesn't mean that the clothes I wear aren't important to me. In fact, it's very important to me what I wear. Why it's important probably varies from the reasons that a lot of other people care about what clothes they wear because they care more about fashions and trends. Me, on the other hand, I care about a couple of different things. I really haven't changed the way I dress since my late teens. Pretty much my outfit, if you will, has remained the same with very little variation. Yep, what you see is what you get, although I didn't always have the dogs here. But shoes or sneakers and some nice comfortable blue jeans and a t-shirt, that's about it. That doesn't mean I always want to look like that. Sometimes I look at all these other people dressed up and they look pretty cool. I think, man, I would really love to look like that. I don't always want to look like I'm dressed in t-shirt and jeans, but it's the most comfortable. Every time I've tried other styles of clothes, from suits to dress pants to you name it, it never feels comfortable and it's incredibly distracting to the point where I really can't concentrate. And I know what you're going to say, dude, just get over it. Well, I'm here to tell you, I ain't getting over it. I'm 57 years old, and what you see is what you get. Because I learned at a relatively young age what felt good and what did not feel good. And I've never really had any kind of success in wearing other types of clothes and feeling comfortable at all. But it goes way beyond generic, well, t-shirts and jeans and these kind of shoes feel comfortable. It's the specific ones. Once I find a pair of jeans that I like, I tend to buy several pairs because I know that they all feel about the same and I like it. If I wear like a different brand, I don't like it. It does not feel right. These right here are some trusty Levi 550s, but you know what? They're not my favorite. My favorite were Levi's Carpenter jeans. I wore those for years, and now it's really hard to find them, so I've been kind of bummed out. This is the second best. But for a while, I was wearing some cheaper Levi's, and I didn't really like those, so I'm really happy to start wearing these again, although I need to lose some weight before I invest a lot of money in buying a lot more of them. I also discovered that I really like these Merrill, they're called Jungle Mocks. And I got a bunch of different ones. However, a couple of them were of a slightly different type, and I don't like them as much. I really like these. I actually got some steel-toed ones for work. I think you can actually see one of there hiding, and those are really, really comfortable too. And I got a bunch of different colors, a few different colors, and I wish I got them all gray because, well, I'll get to that. I don't know if you can relate, but you go and you find this pair of sneakers, you really, really like them, you wear them out, and you go back to the store and you find it that they don't make those anymore, and they don't even have anything that's remotely close, even though it's the same brand. This drives me out of my mind. I liked my sneakers. I want another pair just like that, and I should have bought like 8 pairs when I got them, and I found out I really liked them. A few years ago, I bought a few different pairs of sneakers and hiking boots and whatnot. They're all great, but the thing is, they're not all the same. And so very often when I put on a pair, well, this doesn't really feel like the other ones, and that kind of freaks me out. These nice Merrill Jungle Mocks, on the other hand, they all seem to be about the same. They don't seem to be changing the style. Now, by the way, I will tell you, they don't usually come with pictures of fish and bubbles on them. I actually spilled bleach on this shoe, and I gave it to my daughter, the pair of shoes to my daughter, who was like, went to college for art for 5 years, said, do what you want to. I didn't expect her to do this, but what she did was pretty cool. So now I wear these all the time. But I need to get another pair of just gray ones, maybe 3 or 4, because I like the way they feel, and I'm really happy to put on the same pair of shoes every single day and have some backups because I know what I'm going to get, just like I know what I'm going to get in terms of how these pants fit. I like it. Which brings me to shirts. A lot of the shirts that I buy, well, they're concert shirts. We've been going to a lot of concerts lately, which is awesome. And every once in a while, I'll buy some other kinds of fanciful shirts with, nerdy type stuff on them, usually, or band sort of stuff. And that's cool. However, what's really disheartening is there's various brands, there's various cuts, and so not all of them feel the same. Some of them can be quite different in their sizes. And of course, I'm unhappy at this point because I've gotten up to the point where I'm somewhere between an extra large and a 2XL, which I really hate. I'm just on that cusp. And wasn't so long ago that I was in larges and the extra larges looked too big on me. So those things really drive me crazy, but it's not just the sizes. It's, if you wear t-shirts, you know that they're not all cut the same, and that can be really, really disconcerting if you're like me. And don't even get me going on socks. There are some socks that go on nicely. There are other socks you have to pull and all this kind of stuff, and they don't feel the same. So maybe when they're on, you really don't care, or you don't care. However, putting them on, totally different. Don't like it. Am I autistic? No, but I'm a little right of center on the spectrum. But whatever, that's not diagnosed, but I know myself well enough to know that. This is just one of those peculiar things about me that I really have my druthers when it comes to clothes, and when it varies, I get a little bit uncomfortable, or a lot uncomfortable. But now let's get to the second part, because this part isn't about comfort, it's about decision fatigue, or avoiding decision fatigue. We make way more decisions than our ancestors ever did. Our brains were just not developed to handle making the amount of decisions we make every single day in the modern world. And the last thing that I want to spend my time deciding is what I'm going to wear. I remember watching the remake of The Fly with Jeff Goldblum, and I think Gina Davis was the female lead. I don't remember. But I remember she opened up his closet, and there they are, these 7 identical outfits hanging up. And he said, well, he had that so he didn't have to decide what to wear every day. And I get it. I got a couple of these belts from Walmart, and they're really convenient because you can put the little, thing anywhere as you get fatter and thinner. But I didn't have to decide what belt I was going to wear. I've got these, a couple of these belts, just put one of the belts on the pair of pants, which are all identical. I really do have a huge regret of getting several different pairs of these Jungle Mocks. These are the work ones. I'm not affiliated with these guys, but these things are awesome. These are actually more comfortable than the other ones. They've got, steel toes and 500-degree soles. This is not an advertisement for Merrell, but just not having to decide. I didn't want to pick the color. Just put on the same one every single day. I prefer that. It was so much easier when I had the sneakers. Just one pair of sneakers, just put them on every single day. For the longest time, I had a bunch of the exact same pair of socks and the exact same pair of underwear. There were these Hanes underwear I could get. They're all black. You can get them all black from Amazon. And so I never had to decide what I was going to wear. Always that same pair of underwear. And I went through phases of all black socks or all gray socks. And it's great. Matching up the socks in the laundry, you don't have to match them up. They're all the same. If a hole gets in one, you just throw one sock out. You don't have to throw the whole pair out. And it doesn't matter. There's no decision. I'm going to wear socks and underwear today. And I'm going to wear pants. And I'm going to wear shoes and a belt. But now it comes to the shirt. The shirt is where it gets a little difficult. Because, yes, I always wear a t-shirt, or when it gets to be winter, I'll wear like a Henley or maybe a long sleeve t-shirt. And every once in a while, a flannel shirt. But let's go back to where I screwed up with the socks and with the underwear. Now, the underwear aren't my fault. My girlfriend Susan got me some of those Shinesty underwear, which are actually really, really comfortable. But the problem is they're kind of expensive, and she got me a few different pairs, so they're different. And so now when I open up the drawer, I have to decide, well, which pair am I going to wear? Because they're different. And I hate that. She bought like this mystery pack, and all the pairs were the same, and she thought that was awful. I thought it was great. Because, once again, don't have to care about what you're going to wear. Wear the same one all the time. Not the same pair, but you know what I mean. And about 5 years ago, I made a mistake with the socks because I started to wear a couple pairs of bright and colorful socks every once in a while. And yeah, it was cool and it had some spice. I usually wear neutral colors, so that's something kind of cool and interesting that somebody can see a flash of for a second. But now I have all these pairs of socks which are different that I have to match up and decide, well, which pair of socks am I going to wear? And it gets worse because some of them, like I said in the beginning, they're not as comfortable. So I'm not really happy about that, and I've got to fix that. And the socks that I really like now, they're called the world's most comfortable sock, and I guess they didn't make them for men, but now they do. They're stupid comfortable. They're really awesome. But I have 3 pairs right now because, once again, they're expensive, and my daughter bought me 3 different colors. But the shirts, this is where I mess up. This is where I'm not sure what to do because I like all of these fanciful shirts. However, sometimes I'm sitting there deciding, which shirt am I going to wear today? Not sometimes, every morning. Hey, stop barking. I'm trying to make a video here. Which shirt am I going to wear today? And that drives me crazy. And there's something in me that says, you know what, dude? You would be so much happier if you got a whole bunch of black t-shirts, because that's what I wear to work, by the way. I've got a bunch of black t-shirts, and that's what I wear out to my job, so I never have to decide what I'm going to wear. But, man, I'm thinking, you would be so much happier if you just had a whole bunch of identical shirts. Had to kick the dogs outside. They wanted to go outside. That's why they were barking. But you don't know the mental anguish of trying to figure out which shirt you're going to wear, or maybe you do. But This is why what I wear is so important to me. I want things to be comfortable. I want things to be predictable because I don't really want to feel the clothes on my body, if you know what I mean. And I don't want to have to decide what the heck I'm going to wear. I just want to put it on and be done with it and go on about my day, knowing that I'm comfortable, knowing that I look like what I always look like, and not really caring about anything else. I don't see these shirts. They're really fanciful, but everybody else gets to see them, not me. Why the hell am I wearing them? I don't know if you can relate to any of this. I would love to hear your comments. If you can relate to this, if you know what I'm talking about, and if you have experiences like this, I would love to hear what you have to say about the comfort thing and about the decision fatigue thing. And if you think I'm absolutely crazy, I would love to hear about that as well. Any and all comments are welcome. But thanks a lot for watching this video. I know it's kind of a weird one, but this is something that, believe it or not, is an important part of my life. It's not a major part of my life. It's tiny, but it's one of those things that causes angst. And we're not even going to get into like the folding clothes and putting them away thing, which I totally suck at. I'm really good at doing laundry, just really bad at folding them and putting them away because I just don't want to do it. Life is hard. You know what I mean? Have a good one, kids.